Build-up, losing 7 of their 8 warm-up matches. At least Wales had that morale-boosting victory. Experience elsewhere, of course. And Canada have made a late change in midfield. Nick Witkowski, formerly of Swansea, is in for John Cannon. They've bags of experience too, but you fear virtually no pace. Rob Steele and Snow have played quite a bit of rugby in Wales, of course, so the two front rows should know each other pretty well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rugby World Cup invites you to join us now in a moment's silence in memory of the victims of the Bali bombing, which occurred on this day 1 year ago. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the members of the World Choir now perform the national anthems of Wales and Canada.
For both sides there. It's a rather disappointing crowd here at the Telstra Dome. Alongside me is Jamie Salmon, capped of course by New Zealand and by England. Where are the important areas today? Kerry Sweeney, plenty of pressure on him, but huge experience in this Welsh team.
Yes, there certainly is. We look at the two reserves that have been picked for this side. I think the halfbacks, certainly in the first 20 minutes, as we look at Al Sharon, the Canadian captain, he and the coach Dave Clark have made it abundantly clear that they're going to be as physical as possible in this match. So there, for the first 20 minutes, Wales are going to weather that, keep their cool and keep their concentration.
And there is Colin Jarvis, unattached at the moment. He's being sponsored to play rugby by a couple of former internationals, Glenn Webb and Mark Ring, through their restaurant. And Gareth Thomas, 2 tries away from the Welsh scoring record. Rod Snow there, who has played 8 seasons at Newport, so he'll know the opposition very well indeed. But this Canadian side, again, a lot of experience. Al Sharon, at 37 years of age, has just come back from reconstructive surgery on his knee. But really, when you look through the side, it's hard to see where they can break down this Welsh defence. No pace really anywhere on the pitch.
Yes, absolutely. That's the big problem for them. Lockheed and Stanley have got experience as Chris White takes charge of his first match in the tournament, and Jarvis gives his last words to his forwards. There's a slight delay to the kickoff, and yes, as we're saying, the Canadians, lots of experience in the backs, but not a lot of penetration, I don't believe, and certainly I think on a closed roof, no wind to speak of, I think Wales can afford to play a 15-man game and really expose those deficiencies in the Canadian defence.
Well, the Lions played the second test here in 2001. There were 3 Welshmen on the side that day. The Lions were hammered. Let's hope we don't get a similar result. No survivors from that Lions side, though, in this Welsh team, as Wales, in white, remember, in the change strip, get us underway in a match you feel they must win. They've got games coming up against Italy and against Tonga and New Zealand. You'd think they would beat Italy and Tonga. So this match, well, maybe not a virtual quarter-final decider, but not far away from that.
No, indeed, first scrum always important, especially for the front 5. Set their stall out for the afternoon. And Chris White already making his first big decision.
And penalising the Welsh front row. Morgan Williams playing at scrum half for Canada, another one of those experienced players who played for Stade Francais. There's Robin McBride, and the fullback for Canada, James Pritchard, born in Australian Randwick, one of the quicker players in this sluggish Canadian backline. Mike James at the front of the line-out, played for Stade Francais in the Heineken Cup final against Leicester, which Leicester won. Mark Lawson. No wind, of course, so that's going to help the throwers in, and taken at number 5 by Mike James. A little bit scrappy. Little knock forward 2 from a Welsh hand, and Canada get the scrummage.
Yes, pity. Wales could have snaffled that one and got one against Lawson's throw. But second scrum of the day, and again tactically interesting how the Canadians play it in the first 15-20 minutes.
Morgan Williams back to Bob Ross, the very experienced Bob Ross. Coming into the line is Nick Witkowski, the lane replacement, the former Swansea centre, deep inside the Welsh 22. Morgan Williams picks up, it's Bob Ross, Didier Alamo, it's Yeston Harris who knocks the ball out of his hands crucially, and Nick Witkowski was clean through that Welsh defence. This is Ross. Dave Lockheed, the former Leicester winger, trying to rip the ball free is Colin Hughes in this Canadian squad, because John Tate's daughter is ill, a very experienced John Tate, giving John Hughes his opportunity. And as you were saying, Jimmy, they're going to play it very physically, these Canadians, in the early stages.
They certainly are. That's another penalty they've given away. Chris White played advantage after that Canadian knock-on, but certainly Kerry Sweeney's got to get hold of his back row and work out quite why Witkowski got so much space to move through and go 20-30 yards. So that's dangerous for Wales. They're going to watch that, and Canada in a good position 15 yards out, and this rolling maul will become a feature, I fear, for Wales in this first half especially.
Mark Lawson looking to pick out his man, Colin Hughes, and Mike James, the targets perhaps. Goes long this time, taken by Josh Jackson, the number 8. Williams, Bob Ross with a drop and goal, and it's sweet as a nut, and Canada take the lead here against Wales. They've made a very impressive start. We expected them to show a lot of aggression. They've done that. They've won good clean ball, and they deserve that lead.
Yes, they do. They've got down into Welsh territory, got a scoring position. Bob Ross in the pocket. Thank you very much. Straight through the post, 3-0. And Wales are going to compose themselves now, get rid of these errors, these knock-ons and things, stop giving away penalties, and have a spell in the Canadian half.
So Ross, the 34-year-old, 57 times cap, takes his total of points for Canada to 407. Lived in the shadow of Gareth Rees for quite a long time, the legendary Canadian out half. That's Rod Snow in there working hard, the loose head for Canada. Morgan Williams. Blindside option this time, and well followed up by Dave Lockheed.
And a pretty good pinpoint kick too from Morgan Williams, the Canadian scrum half. Good tackle into touch, and importantly gives Canada the throw.
David Jones was hit hard there, and they've won that line out, but it's scrappy ball this time for the Maple Leafs. Clear out once more, and all the ball in these early stages being won by Canada. In goes Dave Lockheed, working like an extra flank forward. Lawson goes to ground now. Williams again, he's looking down that blind side once more, goes back to Ross. And again they're chipping away down the narrow avenue, not far side of the pitch. And Kevin Morgan knocks the ball into touch. It was Girolamo up quickly, and it's all going Canada's way, and they've clearly worked out their tactics precisely here.
Well, that was the kick that time from Bob Ross. Before it was Morgan Williams into the box. They just want to play it down there, play around the Welsh 22. And certainly Kevin Morgan looked a little bit hesitant to fall back there. He's got to be strong, secure and confident in that back three.
Robin McBride, number 4 is Brent Cobain, the brother of Matt Cobain, the Australian, but taken by the vastly experienced Gareth Llewellyn, 80th cap for his country today, the former Harlequin, like the man to my right, Jimmy Salmon. And at last, ball for Wales. Gareth Cooper, Colin Jarvis drives into that Canadian defence. It was Van Stavenen with the tackle. Kerry Sweeney into a little bit of space. Back there goes Pritchard and has to play it.
Well, it wasn't the greatest kick by Sweeney, to be frank with you. It went straight down the middle of the field. It was deep, so there could be no pressure from the other Welsh backs onto Pritchard, who had all the time in the world to look up and put it back onto the Canadian 10-metre line. But hopefully Wales can keep some possession, get these runners like Jarvis running at the Canadian backs.
McBride, again it's Gareth Llewellyn, and this is Cobain, not known for his handling skills, but he takes that one pretty well. A little bit better from Wales, better phase from them. Good step by Yeston Harris. Colin Jarvis in support. Cooper, Sweeney, players wide for Wales. Kevin Morgan into the line.
Much better from Wales, asking questions of the Canadian defence. Are they organised? Are they going to make the first up tackles? And McBride had a go there on the short side, and then it came right. So much better from Wales. Put some pressure on the opposition. Make them make the tackles.
Mark Lawson. Again, you don't want a slap tap back in your own 22. Put your defence, your scrum half under pressure. But they've tidied the ball up well. Here's Bob Ross. Oh, Colin Jarvis charging and late. Now Jarvis hit Bob Ross very hard there, and it was above the shoulders. So Chris White's got his first difficult decision to make, and Bob Ross doesn't look too happy.
Well, here we see it's the right arm of Jarvis to watch out for. Now, I don't think there was it wasn't a close fist. I didn't think there was serious intent there from Jarvis. He certainly could have pulled out of it, don't get me wrong, and as captain he should have set an example, and I think he's going to walk here, yellow card.
Well, it is poor discipline, Jamie, there's no question about that. You know, your captain, you're expecting a lot from him, and he's going to sit in the sin bin now for 10 minutes. And can Canada capitalise?
He didn't hit him hard. I think Ross made a pretty good meal of it, and Jarvis is certainly upset at White's decision, but I still think he could have lifted his arm and therefore avoided Ross.
Well, back row forwards always want to make an early impression on the opposition out half. just to let them know they're around, and I'm sure that was in the thinking of Colin Jarvis, because that's just the way back rows think. They are, sunshine, take a bit of that, I'm here. But he's paid for it.
When you take the risk out of it, that's what you should do, especially early on.